Greetings to Awakened Living, where transformation, healing, and alignment comes alive. I am your host, Yali Giovanni, a holistic wellness guide here to share tools, wisdom, and conversations that awaken your highest self. This is your invitation to fully live consciously and in flow with life. Today, I have an amazing guest. Crystal is going to share a bit about who she is, her journey. We're going to talk about her pregnancy journey, what it is to be a doula, and why she became a doula, as well as microdosing. Before we go further into detail, I'm going to have Crystal introduce herself and share a little bit about who she is.
Hello. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me and holding space for me to have this conversation. Pregnancy is very difficult and we go through so many different things, not just creating life in our womb, but we have a lot of outside and past things that come up for us.
Yes.
Like I said, my name is Crystal. I am a full spectrum birth doula and a yoga instructor. I'm a single mom of a 3-year-old, and I currently live in Fort Lauderdale.
Welcome, 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 Crystal. First and foremost, Crystal and I took the doula training, and I love her energy. She was always soulful, always impactful. She always shared something that inspired us. So I really felt connected to your energy from the training, and that was, even though it was this year, listen, the connection is unwavering, period.
Period. You gotta have to clock that.
And during the training, you shared a bit about your pregnancy journey. And if you don't mind, I'd like for you to share your journey and tell us about the steps and what you experienced that led you to where you are today.
Yes, this is such a great question, and it's filled with like a lot of emotion and accountability. To go back a little bit into the beginning of my pregnancy, I was in a 3.5-year relationship, and at the end of it, it got overlapped into another relationship. And
Okay.
I was feeling that one time for the one time, when you see your partner and you're like, this is the last time you will ever see me or have this.
Yes.
Yes, that's the place. That's a dangerous place to be.
Yes.
Out of that, I got pregnant with my daughter, who was a twin. Originally, I got pregnant with twins.
Okay.
Yes, and I was very sick. I have HG, and that is 24-hour morning sickness.
Yeah.
All the way through my first trimester and my second, I lost 32 pounds. I was unable to keep anything down. So I was living on sea moss and smoothies. Yes, it was quite a task. But what I realized with all the sickness is that it was more than just my physical. I had a lot of wounds and accountability that I need to take. So being pregnant sat me down and created a space for me to look in the mirror and start breaking myself down layer by layer by layer, and kept asking myself, how do I hold myself accountable for this? How do I look at myself in the mirror? How do I feel okay being in this pregnancy? How do I want to show up?
Yes.
And so many things came up along with that: mother wounds, sexual childhood traumas.
Okay.
The works were coming up.
Yeah.
And my mom, she passed away when I was 13, but I was still harboring so much hurt and misunderstanding and frustration that I couldn't talk to her about my pregnancy.
Yeah.
That I began to microdose during my pregnancy.
Wow. And when you said microdose, what exactly does that mean?
Microdose is taking very small amounts of psilocybin mushrooms. And what it does is interact with our brain serotonin and our receptors to introduce or alternate perceptives, emotions, and thoughts.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
So when you decided to microdose, at what point were you in your pregnancy that you say, you know what, I need something?
I need more assistance. That was
Yes.
right at the end of my first trimester.
Okay.
I
And
was
that was after
realizing.
the HG process of not being able to hold much down, because that within itself is
Yes.
stressful. Yeah.
That was extremely stressful.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk. I had a lot of deficiencies going on in my body because I wasn't maintaining. So I'd have split and blurred vision, a lot of vomiting, very fatigued. But the mental of it was even heavier of
Yeah.
processing what was happening in my life at the time. In my first trimester while I was sick, I just had a very strong feeling that I was not going to have a hospital birth.
Okay.
I had a lot of fears and trauma, which we know us beautiful women are passing away on our birthing tables
Yeah.
at unprecedented amounts,
Unfortunately, yes.
unfortunately. So I had a huge fear about birthing in a hospital, and I began to read and learn and take myself to birthing classes. I was alone my whole pregnancy. We weren't together. And I spent a lot of time learning my body, what happens during pregnancy, what's baby doing during pregnancy. And I built such an incredible bond with myself and my daughter Mayelle while she was still in the womb. And microdosing amplified that for me.
So you felt a deeper connection as you were microdosing.
Yes, and during our pregnancy, we naturally become psychic.
Yes.
Whether we listen to it or we ignore it or push it down to the side, I'm somebody who is like, oh, I'm leaning into this
Yes.
as hard and as open as I can.
And I believe that. And we're going to come right back into it. I believe that. And the reason why I say that is because my last pregnancy was almost 20 years ago. She's going to be 20 in a few months. I can't believe it.
Incredible.
I cannot
Incredible.
believe it. That thing went by so fast, girl.
You have a 20-year-old. I look at my 3-year-old. I was like, you were just born.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, I miss it. I miss it so bad. But I have a grandson, so I can make it up with him.
Oh, I love that.
But during the pregnancy, I died, right? I was at the end of 6 months into my 7th month, and I died. I was in a domestic violence relationship slash marriage, and we got into a really bad argument, and he pushed me into the wall. And when he pushed me into the wall, my asthma was induced. And so I had a really awful asthma attack, and that's when I transitioned.
Wow.
And so in my transition, I felt the out of body experience. And I saw myself on a conveyor belt. Like, when you're at the airport and the conveyor belt is just taking you to the destination.
Yes.
So when I was on the belt heading to, there was like a beacon of light. And in the beacon of light, there was a whole bunch of people there waiting for me. It was a bunch. It was a group, right? It was
Wow.
a group of people. And then suddenly I hear my name being called faintly in the back. And then I hear, Holly, Holly. And I went to turn my body to look back because I'm like, who is calling me, right?
Yes.
And then this elder appears, which I believe is my paternal grandmother. So she appears, and next to her was a tall man. I couldn't see his face. I just knew it was a tall man. So it could have been my grandfather, paternal grandfather as well, because I was told that he was tall. So she approached me and she grabbed my right hand like this. And then she goes, it's okay if you want to turn back and go. She said, we'll be here waiting for you whenever you're ready. And then I looked at her, and next thing I came to like this. But I was sitting down because what happened when my back hit the wall, in the cartoons when you just
Yeah,
down,
you slide
that's
down.
exactly how it was. Right. And so, but when I came to and he was standing there, I saw the fear in his face. Like he was scared, and he was like, I was calling you, you weren't breathing. And he was saying all these things. I didn't know if I should call 911. Like he was panicking. But I bring this up to say this. I believe that when we're pregnant, not only is our psyche heightened, right? We hear clearly the connection between our unborn child
Yes.
and the relationship that we're building from the womb, right? Do
Yes.
you know I heard her say, I'm your guardian angel?
Oh, I just had goosebumps.
Listen, I got goosebumps again. I heard her tell me she's my guardian angel and everything is going to be okay. And
I
she
know that.
was.
Oh my goodness.
So
She
when
said,
you
I'm
say
so happy
that,
you came back.
listen, you hear me?
Wow. That
Unbelievable.
is such a powerful testimony. And being able to hear our babies in the womb is so important and so like, whoa.
Yes, because it was a wow factor.
Yes, it brings in like okay, I understand that we are one at this moment. You have a purpose, I have a purpose, and we're
Yes.
supposed to do this together.
Yes.
Wow. Woo,
So
I
when you
still have
said that, it
goosebumps.
triggered that memory. And I was like, oh, wow, that's probably why that, okay. Because,
Yes,
when we're going through pregnancy, we don't really pause, which is why now as a doula, I encourage my moms to be,
yes,
the fathers, the family, but especially the moms to be, to journal. I never journaled during my pregnancy. I
I
never
video.
documented anything.
There's so much to document, but when we're in the thick of things, it's very hard to do.
Yeah.
In my pregnancy, I couldn't write, but I
Mhm.
would just record myself and be like, this is for my baby. When she gets here, I'd be like, baby, I would send her little videos and things. And
That's beautiful.
wow, that is so incredible. You were able to hear her,
Hmm.
that she was able to give you the reassurance and let you know, like, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. What I love about that and you being able to hear her is similar I have a similar feeling and memory of being able to hear my daughter in the womb. And it started off very little, very subtle, where I'm like, hey, we don't have an instruction manual. What do you want? Like, what do you need from me? And I would just sit and breathe with her and say, what do you need from me?
Wow.
What do you like? And I would ask her. And she didn't even have a name at the time, but I was like, baby, what do you need?
Yeah.
And I heard things like, I like to read. I need
Be-
organization. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my organization is so, baby. But if that's what you need, I
Yeah.
will do my best to give that to you. And after she was born, I read her birth chart and it was
Hmm.
telling me, oh, she's going to be somebody who loves to read. Oh, she needs organization. Oh, she needs a routine for her to thrive. And I see it now at 3 years old. She's always grabbing a book. When she has her tantrums and she has to go to have time to herself, I looking
Hmm.
at her, she's reading a book.
Wow.
So I think being able to connect and hear and recognize too that as our daughters are carrying bloodlines through us,
Yes.
and I was able to hear and learn about things that my family didn't know. So my mom, she passed away, like I said, when I was 13, and she was adopted, and we never knew her mom because she gave her away to the
Okay.
babysitter with a fake name. She just left her. So my mom grew up thinking that her real last name was McCord and her mom's name was Vivian, but that was not true at all.
Wow.
So during my pregnancy, I'm asking my daughter, because I just used to call her Tootie. I'd be like, okay,
Okay.
Tootie. And I was asking her, like, Tootie, what do you want to be called? Because was stumped. I said, what do you want your name to be? And I heard May-El. And I was like,
Really?
L? I was like, I don't know, baby. I don't really like it. But she was so strong. I kept coming up. I was dreaming about it. May-El, May-El. Fast forward, my daughter's now born, and we find my mom's birth mom, and
Uh-huh.
her name was Clara May.
Shut the front door.
Yeah. I was like, when my sister had told me, because we got contacted by a cousin we had never met, we both were in utter shock. I was like, I'm not going to name you May-El. And she was like, no, that's my name.
And she's showing you, she's like, hold on, let me show you a
Let me
little
show
bit.
you why. Let me show you why.
Oh my God.
And they used to call her just May because she was the mother. So
Wow.
May-El translates as like the mother.
Shut the front door.
Yes, my daughter is really something. She makes me sweat. Like I'm sweating and have goosebumps, like just speaking about how communicative she was during my pregnancy and how I was able to hear her clear as day once I had sat down, locked in, and started deciding, like, what are we going to do? It's you and me. What do you want to do? Where do you want to be born? I want a
Yeah.
home birth, but if you want to be in the hospital, let me prep myself for that.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be born in the living room.
Wow.
And that's where she was born. And I just stuck to it. And it was very difficult. I labored for 42 hours. Yes, it was a long, long delivery. but it was incredible. I was microdosing that day as well, little bits. I was very in tune with her. I could feel her and move her around, but she was not coming out in any fast kind of way. I had more, I guess, shadow work to do in that time and to stand my ground. I had a midwife from Hollywood Birth Center here in South Florida, and immediately they were like, oh no, you got to go to the hospital. Your water broke 12 hours ago. You got to have this baby out in 24 hours or we have to do a C-section. And I was so calm. I was like, okay, I'm going to go home and do everything I know. So I did the midwife's brew. I did the enema. I had the breast pumps going. I was doing the mile circuit, dancing, enjoying life, squatting. And here was this midwife in the background, like a big black cloud,
Wow.
miserable.
And that's why it's important that your midwife and your doula understand what you want.
Yes.
Yes, I understand everything about safety, so I'm not discounting that at all. However, if you're not in distress, if the baby's not in distress, it's important that they understand what mommy wants, what mommy needs.
Yes.
You know? Because
100%.
Say that again?
I said 100%.
Because at the end of the day, if you had decided to follow the fear, you would have gone against not only your soul, but your connection to your soul.
Yes. And to me, I feel like I was so headstrong. And I remember thinking and asking her, like, are you sure we want to do this at home? Like, we are on a time schedule. Do you want to be born at home? I had goosebumps all through my body. And I was like, yeah. So I held strong to that because I didn't want to betray or show her that her first big act, I don't trust her with.
Very important. And I'm glad you said that word trust.
Yes.
Right? Because, and that is a perfect segue into trusting who you are, trusting your soul, right? Because you gave her permission to communicate and you gave yourself permission to receive the information.
Very intentional. Correct.
Because if you
Very intentional.
hadn't, there was no way she could have been communicating the whole pregnancy and you wouldn't have been able to hear anything.
That's where it was like, I have to sit down and, as they say, like, be still.
Yes.
The sickness caused me to be still.
Absolutely.
And it was so beautiful and so incredible, so challenging, so awe-inspiring that I can trust this.
Yes.
I can trust her. May Elle in my body know what's happening.
Yes.
And the midwife through the whole thing started saying fear tactics like, hey, your baby's talking to me. She's getting scared. We need to go to the hospital. And when we're, in labor, our emotions can be anywhere and we can also be really snappy.
Yes.
And I wasn't necessarily snappy, but I definitely spun away in a dance like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I am busy.
And you used the right word, fear tactic, right?
Yes. There were so many fear tactics.
Grounded, you would have fed into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I had a really good team around me and everybody knew. I said, okay, if baby doesn't come at 45 hours, we will go to the hospital. And that's that. But towards the end, when we got to, it was 41 hours, she sat me down, the midwife, and said, okay, if you don't go to the hospital, you will lose your baby.
Really?
Yes. So me and my team, we went into my bathroom and locked it down and it became a sanctuary.
Okay.
And we prayed. And I had even invited my mom into the space. I said, I really need your protection in this time. Do not let these women come in here.
Okay.
And my daughter was born 35 minutes.
What?
Yes. And I told her, I said, baby, this is it. We have to make our entrance. We have to get in the water. And the room was completely dark. And we had 2 candles and we were singing and talking to her. And all of a sudden I'm in the water and whoosh, she shot out.
Wow.
It was amazing. It was remarkable.
Cool.
It was incredible. Like, she was holding out for the last minute. I felt like that was a test to myself as well, to
Yes.
trust myself. And I have kept that this whole time. I'm so grateful for her.
Wow, that was a beautiful journey. And question that I have now that you said 42 hours that you were in labor. So to a mom that wants to give birth at home
Yes.
and she finds herself in labor longer than what she anticipated, because some moms think, oh, 5 hours, 10 hours, but oftentimes folks don't think beyond the 10 hours, right?
Right.
What would you suggest to a mom that is laboring at home, being fed the fear tactic, aside from, okay, we know to go within and to listen to our mind and our body and our soul,
Yeah.
right? What is one thing that you will say, okay, yeah, you're laboring this long, but this is what I will recommend you do as you are in labor?
What I recommend while you're in labor is to stay hydrated.
Okay.
You want to make sure baby has enough liquids and fluids for her to staying hydrated is a big one. And two, having small bites of protein to keep your energy up, to even have the mental strength and the physical storage to
Okay.
power through, because we need a lot of protein. It takes a lot of energy to go through contractions and waves and waiting around. Not waiting around. We are obviously, our body is still working, but it still
Right.
needs fuel. So those
Oh,
are my two biggest. If you are laboring longer than you anticipated,
mhm.
surrender to the process, sit, breathe, and keep yourself hydrated and have protein. And it's okay to walk. We went to the park. It's like,
Beautiful.
okay, let's go to, let's change the scenery. Let's get out of the house and let's go to the park. And we went to the park and we changed the scenery. It wore me out. I was asleep before we even left the park, but it's okay to rest. It's
Yeah,
okay to change your scenery. When our water breaks, we don't have to just stay stationed to one spot. We can maneuver. Lots of
true.
coconut water, having teas on hand that are very helpful, like red raspberry leaf is very helpful. Sea moss, sour saparilla, we need to make sure our iron is high. Be mindful of what we need to push through.
Absolutely.
But
I
we can
agree.
do it. That we can do it.
Absolutely. Because we're equipped for it.
We are.
We're equipped for it. It's the mind again, and this is another reason why I always share with moms and people in general. You have to condition yourself to understand that you control your mind, not your mind controlling you. Because your
Yeah.
mind is a computer, it's what you put into it. It doesn't put into you, right? So if you're putting in
Right.
positive affirmations and positive thoughts, then it's going to feed you back that positive thought and affirmation, right? And energy.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that you shared that. So for the microdosing, see, I want to go back to that
Yeah.
microdosing. I think it's important for moms to understand that there's so many things that's available to you and so many options. We're so conditioned a one-way track of mind when we're expecting, and we don't believe that there's opportunities, many opportunities, options, and choices out there, right? You discovering microdosing, what led you to find microdosing? Did you just go on Google and say, oh, how do I do this? Because this is too much. Or did you already know about microdosing and you said, let me look into this a little further? Because it's not anything that a regular Joe is going to think about to look.
Right. During pregnancy, of all places, to be like, let me get down with the get down. No, I began my microdosing journey with non-psilocybin mushrooms. I had a horrible mommy brain. So I
Mhm.
started taking lion's mane mushrooms and turkey tail, which are really good to help with anxiety, depression, cognitive health. And I was taking those. Chaga is rich in antioxidants. It supports the immune system. And shiitake, it boosts your immune system, helps your heart health. So I was already very interested in mushrooms before I got pregnant.
Okay.
And I had a friend who is a psilocybin chef here in South Florida. And
Really?
she does special dinners, retreats, and things like that. And she said, I think you should try this. And I was a little hesitant at first.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, I'm already taking 7 other mushrooms at this time. And
Mhm.
once I added the psilocybin in, everything started to click. Yeah.
Wow. Again, another opportunity where you listen.
Where
And
I listen, yes. So I think it's really important if a mom is going through a lot of things and trying to process and remembering that we're not just carrying our bloodline in our wombs, but we're also carrying the Father's bloodline in our wombs.
Absolutely.
And having the awareness of yourself that microdosing during your pregnancy is such a powerful and incredible experience for both partners.
Yeah.
I have helped other moms microdose during their pregnancy
Mhm.
where they were not connecting to their partner. It was like, you disgust me, get away from me, don't touch me.
Yeah, that
We
happens.
started, yes. Like, if you look at me, I will bite your head off. And I introduced the capsules to that mommy, and her partner had like fell back in love. They were able to create their birth plan together and make affirmation cards together and hold space for each other. Because it was that reminder, you're getting a lot of things from two bloodlines, but you guys are here together.
Absolutely.
And so that is another really beautiful experience because she was like, I'm going to take this baby and I'm going to leave him and I'm going to do it by myself. I
Yeah.
can't stand him. She started microdosing, came full circle to being madly in love with her partner again, enjoying her pregnancy, being
Yeah.
able to function. It's such
Yes.
a powerful medicine for us.
And I'm glad that you're here sharing it for other moms to hear not only your journey, but to hear how impactful and helpful it was to you through your own process. As a doula, seeing your experience during your pregnancy made you say, you know what, let me look more into this, how I can help moms that are experiencing the same thing I am. How can I be a support to a mom that could potentially experience what I experienced and help them stay grounded as I did?
Yes, my journey into doula work was pursued by people who knew me during my pregnancy
Wow, that's beautiful.
because I was just a doula to myself. I found my doula about 4 weeks before I delivered my daughter. So I doulaed myself without knowing that's what I was doing. The more people I met or more people that I encountered, when they got pregnant, they just started calling me, hey, I'm pregnant. Hey, I just had a miscarriage. Hey, I'm going to do a release. I'm going to do a termination. And women were just calling me,
Yeah.
calling me. And I held space for all of them. And I was thinking, I said, okay, I think this is my purpose because this isn't something I was seeking out, but it's something that has fallen on my heart and in my lap. And
Yes.
I started from there and doulaed 3 moms before you and I got into training together.
Mhm.
When I was like, oh, I need to do some like training.
Yeah.
Let's see, I was very curious to what my self-study had taught me opposed to
Yeah.
being in a structured class.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was very pleased and surprised by the things that I knew and the things I didn't know.
Yes. And on top of that, grateful for the opportunity to not only meet you, but to answer your calling.
Thank you.
So many of us are nudged and we ignore it out of fear. We ignore
Yes,
it. We don't believe what we're hearing. We ignore it because whatever the case may be, somebody might have said, oh, girl, that's crazy. Or which is why it's important to be grounded because even when you get the calling, you hear the knock, you see it before you, right? Because it's
see
going to
it.
flash with different ideas. You can be driving down the road and you'll see a message on a billboard, or you'll see a license plate, or
Yes,
you'll see a sticker on a car, or someone you might meet someone and they will say something and it will connect, but yet we disregard it, right? Because we still don't want to believe.
we
Aside from getting
don't,
all the messages, right?
which is so hard. Yes, I've been there, guilty. This knock was so loud, there was no way I could ignore it. It was happening immediately
Yes.
within the first week of having my daughter. Women were
Wow.
calling me. And I would
Wow.
be out in public with my daughter and doing things like our newborn checkup and stuff. And a woman in the waiting room was like, are you a doula? So it was like constant confirmation. And back then I was like, no, but I'm thinking about you now. And another phone call or another person. Do you help with birth? And I
Beautiful.
get that when I come off of assisting in a birth, I'm told I have like a certain aura about me that's like, oh no, this one was just really close to, the living portal. This one was
Yeah.
just here assisting life.
Yes.
is what I've been told. And I said, that's incredible. Because I'm just like, "Woo, coming around, we did that."
I love it. I love it because when we answer the call, initially it's a little nerving. I wouldn't even use the word scared. It's nerving because it's unknown to us, right? But once you accept it, like you're like, okay, I hear you, God. I receive
Yes,
it. I accept. Let's move. Stuff start to happen. The doors just wide open. And
absolutely.
then the right people that's supposed to be in your life just start to come. The wrong ones are falling off the wayside. The folks that you thought were deep with you, would ride or die with you, aren't the ones riding and dying with you, because some people are placed in your life
Yeah.
to keep you off track,
Yes. That's
right?
what that was where we're not supposed to be.
Exactly, exactly. So to encourage a mom that
Mhm.
experience or is experiencing a journey similar to yours, and I want to come back as we close
Mhm.
because there's something that was very powerful and I don't want that to be overlooked. You said you experienced your pregnancy by yourself,
Yes.
and that's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy, but you were able to tap into your power and give yourself the attention that you needed. To a woman
Yes.
that's experiencing the same, what would you say to her as we close out?
What I want to say to you, mommy, is that you were divinely chosen by your baby. Divinely chosen by your baby.
Shay.
And when you can hold accountability for however you became a single mom, even if it wasn't your fault, still find accountability in that and find peace knowing that it's you and baby. Because I know we are built for two people households, but unfortunately, that's not the reality of most of us.
Yes.
And it's so important to have the peace and the mental strength to say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move forward with this. And it is a heavy and very rewarding duty as a single mom. But there's a lot of peace that can be there as well mentally if you're not battling with somebody who doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
If you are not going back and forth with someone's family. So even if you do have support, still be okay with holding the most of the weight.
Beautiful.
That's what I say to mommies, because it's not easy. And I think a lot of the mental battles that we have is that one, like, I'm not supposed to be doing this alone. This isn't how it's supposed to be. Why is this, right? But if we surrender and stop passing the blame and just say, hey, I got this. I have faith. I know I can do this. It eliminates so much of that looking out and looking out. Your tribe is going to come. They will come. But we have to be strong in the mind of knowing it's me and baby. We
Yeah.
got this and we're protected.
Ashe.
I share.
Ashe. Ashe. Gratitude for sharing that. That was so heartfelt and warming. Where would they find you should someone seek your help?
If you would like to find me, my name is Doing a Detox on Instagram, and I'm coming back to the page. I took quite some time to myself, settling into motherhood because it is all on us, but I'm coming back. I'm active there, and it is just Doing a Detox. No underscore, no spaces.
Beautiful, beautiful. Gratitude for joining me on this amazing episode, Crystal. This was great.
I'm so excited. Thank you for holding space. Your questions were beautiful, and I'm very much appreciate them.
You are so welcome. Gratitude for joining me on this journey of awakened living. May the insight and practices we share today inspire you to live with more peace, presence, and purpose. If this episode touched your spirit and soul, I invite you to share it, subscribe, and leave a review so that together we can awaken more lives. To connect more deeply, visit Yali Giovanni and follow Yali Giovanni across all social media platforms, where you'll find resources, events, and holistic offering to support your journey. Until next time, remember, your light is sacred. Your journey is divine, and awakening begins within. I am Yali Giovanni, and this is Awaken Living.